If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. Another day and more of the same nonsense continues to come out. Now they are talking about a national lockdown occurring in America. We have the nation's top infectious disease expert saying not to rule out a temporary national lockdown of the country's restaurants and bars in order to curb the outbreak, saying he'd like to see a dramatic reduction in activity in order to fight this off. Quote, in cities all over the country, bars and restaurants have been packed with people. This was the case last night, according to CNN's Brianna Kelleher and Dr. Anthony Fauci, the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease. During an interview, they said, would you like to see a national lockdown? Basically, people, you can't go out to restaurants, bars, you need to stay home. And again, this is why we have people self-quarantining themselves. Now, we see all this other news come out, right? Walmart, all these stores, grocery stores, are limiting the hours of operation that they are open. You're seeing empty shelves everywhere. This isn't because everybody's buying everything up. It's because they're not stocking the shelves. They've taken their orders. They're not putting supplies out. That's on purpose. That's deliberately done. That's why if you even go to your store in your town, you might not find any toilet paper. You might not find anything there because they're not putting it out. This is deliberately done. This is what's happening right now. We've heard a mayor in Illinois come out declaring a ban on purchasing any type of booze, any type of weapons, anything. They are banning all this stuff. This is the real question that comes around. This is, we know that Event 201 happened. I'm sure most of you are familiar with it. And that was the whole nonsense with, Bill Gates, who conveniently just stepped down from Microsoft. And that was the, what they were calling the test run, I guess, the exercise that they ran in October. So the question is this really the test run now, or is it the real deal? Because remember, in Eyes of Darkness, the predictive programming, remember the book? I've covered it. Many people have covered it. Now you hear the mainstream media trying to deflect off of it. Well, in there, it says in around 2020, when all this stuff goes down, it'll be baffling because the illness itself will suddenly vanish just as quickly as it came, and then be back 10 years later. And 10 years from now is 2030. And that's right in line with Agenda 2030. So these are some of the things that are going on. You're seeing them pretty much say that all these businesses need to close. Everything needs to close. The question, like I said, is it a test run or is it the real deal that's going down? Likely possibly a test run here to see how people react, the real drill occurring in real time. How are people going to react? Are they going to follow what they are told? Are they going to take the instructions that Big Brother gives them? Are they going to quarantine themselves like they're demanding? The social distancing stuff. They're telling you, there's articles up. Parents are not allowing their kids to play with other kids. Nobody's interacting with each other. Everyone's staying away. People are canceling weddings. They're canceling any type of event that they have. Nobody's showing up. This is what they want the people to do. So they don't have to use force. They can use social engineering instead, and that's what's happening right now. Another thing, which is the funniest story that I've read, I think, out of all of these that have come out, is this story that's saying people, and I can't show you the article because, you can't have any of these words in there because the algorithm reads the words off the screen, and then that's how they block the videos. But listen to this. They're saying that the people who don't have it are actually causing it to spread. Huh? Come again? Yeah, you heard that correctly. Let me read it to you. And this is from CNN. The title of the article is Infected People Without Any Symptoms Might Be Driving the Spread More Than We Realize. So in other words, if you don't have it, you're driving the spread. New studies in several countries and a large, I can't say that word. New studies in several countries bring into question reassuring assertions by U.S. officials about the way this is spreading. These officials have emphasized that this whole thing can spread mainly by people who are already showing symptoms such as fever, cough, and all that other stuff. If that's true, it's good news since people who are obviously ill can be identified and isolated, make it easier to control. But it appears that someone up in the Boston area cluster with at least 82 cases was started by people who were not yet showing symptoms. And more than a half dozen studies have shown that people without symptoms are causing substantial amounts of infection. I mean, how does that even make sense? Huh? What? So it's like saying if you don't have the flu, you're causing other people to get the flu? What? This is just another way for them to make sure people who don't have any symptoms stay self-quarantine. That's all this is. They're saying, just because you don't have it and you feel great, don't be the guy going out to the restaurant. Don't be the guy going to, because you're the part of the problem. And that's another thing that you see with Big Brother here. You see all these social influencers, these celebrities are coming out. They're canceling their TV shows. They're canceling their stand-up comedy gigs, anything that they have. And they're saying, I'm sorry I have to do this, but this is what we all need to do. We all need to give these things up for the betterment of each other, right? Like, what? What? They're pretty much saying, if you don't self-quarantine, you're a bad person. If you don't follow Big Brother and listen to the experts because we know nothing, then you're a bad person and you need to be punished. So they're saying conform and follow, conform and follow. And this article just goes on and it talks about, how dangerous people without it are because what? I mean, just think of the stupidity of all this, but people reading like, oh, yeah, that makes sense, right? And saying, oh, well, young people are a real problem too because the young people, they're still going out and they're going to make it more dangerous for the older people. It's like, oh my gosh. I mean, how are people buying into this is the real question. How are they buying into it? And again, like I said, test run or not, we'll find out. We'll see how long this lasts. But they're coming full force. They're talking lockdown. We're seeing stores closing. We're seeing stores closing early. We're seeing businesses shut down. We're seeing people work from home. Companies like Apple telling people to work from home, right? Being at the top of the pyramid, following suit so that everybody underneath them, all those small mom and pop shops follow suit, that they do the right thing. Instead of opening their business, they self-quarantine. They want to see how many people are going to do this. And again, with the stuff in the stores, they are not stocking this stuff on purpose. On purpose, they are not stocking. In these huge places like Walmart and these, Stop and Shops and Ralph's and these other places, these huge grocery stores, this is being done on purpose. All of it's being done on purpose. And many people believe Event 201 was the actual exercise preparing for this. Well, was it the exercise or is this the exercise right now? Because in all these events that we've seen, okay, from what happened in Boston at that running thing, right, that marathon type thing, and I say it like that because the algorithm, and what we saw with the two big buildings in New York, all of these things had test runs beforehand. Okay? They test everything out before they do everything. Sometimes they do it in real time. And you're seeing a perfect example here of them going, can we use social engineering to get everybody to fall in line and follow suit? Can we use our influencers to bully the rest of the public and tell them you're a bad person? Your social status is hindering on this because you don't want to be that person who gets it and gives it to someone else. You need to stay self-quarantine and stop being selfish, right? And because everybody cares about how they look and are perceived in their social status, they fall in line, follow suit, and do what they're told as Big Brother continues to tell them. That's how this whole thing works. And again, what a surprise. Bill Gates steps down from Microsoft, which maybe I'll do a video on, but there's articles out there. How are all the elites how are they reacting to what's going on? How are they going to help, right? Could we have to turn to these people? The guy who runs Microsoft, or used to run Microsoft, these are the guys who are getting it done. These are the guys who openly on the record have talked about depopulating. Openly on the record. They do not have your best interest or my best interest at hand. And you can just look at Bill Gates. Look in his eyes and tell me that there's something not sickly wrong with this guy. Those of us with eyes to see and ears to hear, you can just look at these people and you know that their soul is twisted. They look like demons, because they are. I'll continue to keep you posted on all the stuff that's going on. Obviously, the stuff you hear in the mainstream is just to create fear. None of it is really going on. Obviously, the stuff in the stores is going on, but it's part of a plan. Because I even went to a store and no one even lives around where I am, and there's nothing. And I'm just like, this is a joke. This is a total joke. It's hard to believe that people are running here. Now what? Everybody's suddenly on a frozen food diet? Everybody wants to eat bagel bites now? People who eat healthy? Now everybody suddenly is worried about wiping their rear end? Come on. They're not stocking. This is part of the test. See how they react. Problem, reaction, solution. And then let's see, like the book says, if you believe in predictive programming, the book which outlines this stuff and calls it out loud, says that it's going to come real fast, and just as fast as it came, it's going to vanish and return 10 years later. Pretty interesting. 10 years from now, 2030. What do we know about Agenda 2030? Coincidence? I don't believe in them. I'll remind everybody, please check out my website at callfornuprising.com. It's $2.99 a month. Great place over there. Interact, share your stories, share what's going on in your town, show everybody what's going on in your town, at your stores, what you see going on with this stuff. Great way to interact and communicate with each other. Obviously, here on YouTube, you can only write so much in a post. Over there, you can share pictures, videos, anything you want. So check it out. Become a member. It's worth it. I want to thank everyone out there again for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.